Did you know there was a spoiler revealed by the creators of Stranger Things in episode 3? And we later find out in episode 6 what the spoiler is. If you want to know more, stay back, relax, and enjoy my review of season 5 of Stranger Things. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Anyverse. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 5. I already made a video about Season 1 through 4. If you want to watch it, go to my channel. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy this. So, we're going to start off with Episode 1, The Crawl. Season 1 is 18 months after what we saw at the end of Season 4, right? And basically, they're catching up us on what everyone has been doing in the intro scenes. Max is in coma after Vecna tried to basically deform her body and turn her into a jigsaw puzzle. Lucas is right next to her, checking up on her, hoping she wakes up one day. Elle is missing according to the public, but she is truly training with Hopper and Joyce. And then we have Mike. Mike is living with Will's family, although they're in Mike's house, but basically Will's family moved into Mike's house and the dad is not very happy because he doesn't get his full portion of bacon. He wants them to move out. I don't blame him. And then Robin and Steve now have a new job. Those guys cannot, I don't blame them. They cannot do without a job. Those guys are hustlers, okay? Because now they work in a radio station where they communicate and give news about what is currently going on in the town. Jonathan is still dating Holly, and now the Hawkins is being run by the military. It's completely shut down, and there's a curfew for everything. They have rules and regulations because since the ground split into several folds, the military took over and they basically shut those openings that Vecna opened with metal sheets. Yeah, sounds like fun. So the team they're just tired of watching the military run something that the military has no idea about. Robin sends a message through the radio communication, and at this point everyone has their radio on because apparently Robin is supposed to give like a coded message when she noticed something off about the military's plans. Okay, and at this point they don't really know what the military is up to, but whenever they see something off, like the military bringing several trucks of items, they need to execute their own plan. Okay, so now just Robin is giving some kind of information through talking about an artist and music through the radio, and that was so fun because I was like, "Ooh, I want to decode what that means. Should we meet somewhere at 10 p.m.?" I didn't decode anything, but it was so fun watching them do the whole decoding thing, which is something they did similar to was it season 3 where Robin decoded the Russian message. That was fun. So everyone meets up and they talk about the crawl, okay? And in the crawl, everyone is the entire plan is to find Vecna and stop him. That's it. That's it. It's a very interesting plan because now they're just going into the upside down like it's vacation. They can't, like, they're not scared of the upside down anymore. And guess who's not scared of the upside down? The military, because Hopper sees trucks and trucks go into the upside down like it's nothing. Like, are we forgetting what lives there? And Hopper hops into one of the trucks. Hopper hops into one of I can't take myself seriously. Anyways, the military do not know that Hopper is in one of their trucks and they continue to drive, while on the other end, Steve and Jonathan are also tracking down Hop. So if Hop is going this way, Jonathan is also going this way. Steve was supposed to go on that ride with Dustin, but Dustin was nowhere to be found because he was getting bullied by anti-fans of the Hellfire Club. So Will was like, oh my God, I can take Dustin's place. I know how to run the antenna. And then Josh was like, no, you won't. And then Jonathan was like, mind you, Jonathan, her first son, was like, I'll do it. And then she was like, okay, ma'am, that's your son too. That is your son. Anyways, Steve gets lost because the military hit something and now there was a major accident. Demogorgons came out and ate them for dinner. But somehow, Hopper was able to run away, which was really good. While all of that was happening, Will gets a vision. And at this point, this doesn't really look like a vision because he's seeing through a Demogorgon's eyes. And he can see where the Demogorgon is going. Where is it going? Mike's house. And Will is like, what? Why? Why is he going there? Will wakes up from his vision and he looks straight at Nancy and is like, girl, you better go home. Now this Demogorgon is going straight for Holly's room. Now if I didn't mention, Holly is Mike's younger sister. Poor little girl. She's in her room crying about her parents fighting. She's like, I'm just gonna go to bed. And then the Demogorgon comes right through her roof. Like, are you guys understanding? Like, this is her first exposure to anything supernatural throughout her life. Her brother has known about this for years, but Holly is exposed to this from her roof. The Demogorgon pulls some kind of acrobatic move, try to pull her with her legs and take her through the roof. But Holly, smart girl, strength like Thor, yanked her leg back and ran to her mom's room. But then her mom, she's sipping on her wine. She's having a good night. And then what's daddy doing? Daddy's out there playing golf while Holly is in trouble. So she tells the mom, there's a monster here. And mom's like, no, there's no monster. I don't believe you. And the mom doesn't believe her because Holly got reported at school that Holly has been talking to imaginary friends, like not in a cute way, in a very scary way. And Holly has named her imaginary friend Mr. What's-It. So her mom is like, no, you're seeing things again. I don't believe you. Until the mom heard the sound and she was like, oh, there's something in this house. So the mom and Holly go underneath the bathtub and hide. So the Demogorgon goes into the bathroom and is looking at the bathtub. It's like, is someone in there? Like, this Demogorgon is smart. This Demogorgon has personality. This Demogorgon has like the swags. Let me tell you why. Because the dad came and the dad was like, ooh, I'll fight you. And then the dad, Ted, keeps speaking English to this Demogorgon. Like, sir, who told you that this thing understands English? He kept going, stand back, stand back, stand back. And the Demogorgon was like, no, I won't. And the Demogorgon smacks the dad and flings him across the room. And the mom and the daughter used the opportunity to try to run. But then Demogorgon was fast. So the mom grabs her wine bottle and attacks the Demogorgon. Such a super mom. Then Demogorgon took Holly because the mom was not strong enough, obviously. And the Demogorgon takes Holly to the upside down. So that's the end of episode 1. We're gonna go to episode 2. All right, I spoke a little fast because all that scene where the Demogorgon took Holly was the intro scene of episode 2. But we move, okay? So at this point, Holly is being taken to the upside down. And when Nancy arrived, her mom was on the floor, bloody, like almost dead at this point. So Nancy and Elle, no, Nancy told Elle to go find Holly. And then Nancy took the mom and the dad to the hospital. And I'm assuming she called the ambulance because the military also arrived and they were like, what happened here? And the guy was, one of the head of the military was like, yeah, Elle was here. Elle did this. Sir, don't make assumptions, okay? Like, do your research. These kids found out about these demogorgons in like a day, and you guys have had what, years of research and still nothing substantial, really? So Elle, Ted and Karen were taken to the hospital and they're healing, which is good news. At the hospital, Nancy and Mike are discussing how, like, why would Vecna take Holly? It makes no sense. Or why would the Demogorgons take Holly? Why Holly? And then Will was like, oh my god, Holly has been seeing things. She's been hearing and seeing people that are not there, and it could mean something. So they sneak into their mom's room and they're like, Mom, have you heard anything about Holly? While that is happening, Elle is going to the upside down to go find Holly. Elle is at the upside down trying to find Holly. And during a search, she stumbles on her dad, Hopper. And Hopper is like, what are you doing here? And she's like, to find Holly. Both of them are very stubborn. They're just like going after each other. And Hopper is mad because there's a lab run by Dr. K, who is the latest villain because we don't have Dr. Brenner anymore. And Hopper is like, they're gonna find you. The military is gonna find you. You're supposed to stay missing. But then I was like, I don't care about that right now. Holly is missing. So they go on a hike. But at this point, he was like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore. I need a break. And she was like, I need to recharge my battery. I need some food. So they rest by this wall, which kind of it looks like eggs, like a wall full of eggs. When I look at the picture, I'm like, this looks like the Demogorgons were born from this wall. Well, there were several walls, but that wall looks very gooey, and then they have like this round ball, and I'm assuming it's the eggs, right? Steve and Jonathan at this point were still looping around to find Hopper because they lost him, but their car also broke down, so they can't really drive. Steve was able to find someone who could jumpstart their car, and then guess who shows up during that time? Dustin. Steve is like, where have you been? And Dustin's face is all beat up because the bullies were almost killed the poor boy. But Steve was like, where have you been? And then Dustin's like, I fell on my bike. And Steve was like, fell on your bike and a knuckle sandwich. Like, okay, come on, show some empathy. And then the car start working and they keep looping around G1 location to find Hopper, but they couldn't find him. While all of that is also happening, the Will and Nancy are still trying to get information from the mom, and they're like, did Holly ever tell you who Mr. Whatsit is? And the mom was like, yeah, she did. And then she wrote Henry on the paper. That was like, okay, can I just say that season 5 was very much straight to the point. Like season 5 felt like season 1, where the way it was written like a short film. I'm not sure why a lot of people are hating on season 5. There's actually a lot of hate on season 5 right now. And by the way, I'm only giving a review of episode 1 to 8, because the last episode um is gonna have its own video. I'm gonna make a video on the last episode. So when that happened, I was like, oh my goodness, that makes sense, obviously. But then why did Vecna show up as Henry to Holly? It was my initial question, like, what could this mean? Because when Vecna took Will, it was very aggressive about it. He wasn't like pretending to be Henry. He just pulled him into the um upside down. Will had this idea that since he can see through the Demogorgon eyes, he would try to see through Vecna's eyes, or one of the Demogorgons. And the mom was like, no, you will not. Like, she was so mad. She was like, you're not gonna do that. And Robin was right there, like, ooh, awkward. But then to me, I'm like, Joyce, what is your problem? You're like, I'm not going to risk your life. I'm not going to risk Will's life. But then when it's time to risk Elle or Jonathan, you don't care. She don't care. Like, your son could be saving the entire world. But then you're like, no, not you. Someone else would do it. Hopper and Elle would do it. They'll do it from the upside down. No, sis. He has the psychic powers to find where Holly is. Let him do it. Anyways, she doesn't want him to do it. And oh, what's her name? Robin decides to sneak Will out, and she's like, let's go do it in secret. And that really pisses off the mom, because she's like, did they just trick me? For a moment she did not know that that's what they were doing, but they were trying to strategize how to actually, find Holly through Will's visions, which is a good idea. So now we're gonna go to episode 3. In episode 3, Will's mother Joyce finds out that Will and Robin escaped to do exactly what she said they shouldn't do. So she gets mad again, and this time Will was like, no, mother, I would not let you talk to me like that. I'm a big boy now, and I can do whatever I want to save my friends. He Whew. Okay, Will, that's how you choose to talk to your mother? But then Will's mother was like, okay, I'll listen to you. Hopper and Elle are still stuck by the wall, like they can't go forward, they cannot go backward, right? And then guess what? The military finds them. Dr. K, the most craziest, mad scientist, was able to. Okay, now I might be assuming that she created this transmitter, but I would think she did. So she made this like huge antenna that the military used to make a really uncomfortable sound that made Elle like powerless. Like she just couldn't move. She was in so much pain. She crashed. And Hopper hid her behind a signboard. The military show up to the spot. They're not there because that thing was supposed to track Elle. So they're like, where is she? She must be nearby. And they find out that they're there. So it was like a battlefield. But of course, Elle won because Hopper was able to shoot out the transmitter, and Elle won the battle. And Elle told Hopper, we need to interrogate one of the military men that they took who is still alive. And then Hopper was like, no, I'm gonna interrogate, you're not gonna do anything. And she's like, I can do it. And it was like, no, again, just unnecessarily argument and stubbornness between these two. I'm like, can you guys finally officially start working together? Since Joyce has agreed that Will can go into Vecna's mind or see through Vecna's eyes, Will decided to do that, and at this point he can't really choose what he sees. He just tries his best, and then he sees is right now he's seeing through Derek's eyes because he's in an elementary school and he's hearing people talk to him as Derek, and this is Derek's memories, of course. But at the same time, Vecna was also seeing through Derek's eyes at the same time. So let me rephrase. Derek was in school, minding his business, cussing people out, bullying poor kids. Vecna was seeing through Derek's eyes. Okay? Now these are also Vecna's memories. Will goes into that memory. Now he's seeing through Vecna's eyes, but also through Derek's eyes. Make sense? Okay. And Will was like, Derek is the next victim because he's assuming that Holly also experienced the same thing, which she did. So the kids decided that they should interrogate Derek and bring him to safety, but Derek is a stubborn piece of So they said, well, before they knew that the plan was to kidnap Derek, and Jonathan looked at his mom, is like, Mom, do you agree to us kidnapping a kid? And Joyce was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's kidnap another person's son, but you can't use my will anytime you want. Like, sis. But anyways, at this point, she was already a little okay with Will using his powers for the greater cause. Derek also happens to be Erica's best friend's brother, Tina. Now, Erica has been talking about Tina since season 1. Like, we've been hearing about Tina, we've always wanted to meet Tina. And we get to meet Tina in season 5, who happens to be Derek's sister. So, Lucas and Will go to Erica's school and they're like, Erica, we need you to help us kidnap Derek. So this is where the spoiler is, right? This is the spoiler I was trying to tell you guys. In Eric's class, Mr. Clark was teaching about wormholes, okay? And it's gonna make sense eventually when I continue. But I thought that was really funny because the way it drew the wormhole was exactly the way it was in episode 6. But we'll move on to that eventually. So Erica was like, okay, sure. I mean, she wasn't agreeable at first, but eventually she was like, I'll kidnap Derek for you. So she goes to Derek's house and she and Tina were having a conflict, but she brought resolution pie. And the pie also has a little bit of something that kind of made everyone sleepy. Except Tina, because Tina wasn't trying to eat some pie. So Erica had to get creative. Tina. So they took Derek and they took him to this empty, I want to say, let's just say a shed, right? And Derek was like, whoa, you guys are just kidnapping a kid? Just like what? And then she looks at Will's mother and she's like, really? Really? You're okay with this? And then she's trying to express like, no, we didn't really kidnap you. We're trying to help you. And then I was like, no. He tries to run away. Guess what? A Demogorgon comes because the Demogorgon is trying to get Derek. And then Derek's like, oh, shoot. They're really trying to help me. So everyone is fighting this Demogorgon, well, mostly Joyce. And the Demogorgon was like, moving back. And I'm like, what? Why are you moving back? What? She was swinging at it. And the Demogorgon was like, backing up. And I'm like, Joyce, that tiny Joyce scares you? Makes no sense to me. Like, these Demogorgons have been peeling men into two. And then Joyce is being let go. Like, guys, if this is an Easter egg here, let me know because that blew my mind. And then Jonathan pulls up and hits the Demogorgon. So now, while everyone is going through all this trouble, Holly is in Vecna's mind. Okay, we see Holly in Vecna's mind, not the upside down. She's in Henry's family house, And this girl is dancing, changing her outfit, baking chocolate cake. Sis, do you realize that you've been kidnapped? I don't think she understands what's at stake here. Okay? Because she's having way too much fun. Vecna arrives, he gives her all the information. She's like, I'm trying to save you from monsters, I'm trying to save you from bad things, so stay here and chill. And chill she did. And then he gave her one warning: do not go into the woods because the monsters also live there. And she said, bet. Then the doorbell rings and she goes to the mailbox. She sees a letter, and the letter says, come to the woods. And she's like, what up? What up? I think I just got a warning not to go into the woods. Why is there a map showing me the way to the woods? So she took the map, she went back inside. She was like, I'm gonna go finish my chocolate cake and watch TV. Good girl. Good girl. So Hop and Elle decided to work together and actually interview Lieutenant Akers. Akers? Akers? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I only heard his name once. And they find out that Dr. K is up to something very fishy. And Elle was like, I am going to go find that out. And Hopper, as usual, he's telling her, no, you can't do it, blah, blah, blah. After Holly gets sugar high from chocolate cake, she decides to embark on the map journey and she goes straight into the woods. Now she gets to the destination and she sees the shadow of someone and she gets really scared. So she runs back into the woods. She's like, oh my God, there truly is a monster here. But it wasn't a monster. It was Max. It was Max. Max is back. Oh my God. I wasn't expecting that. I was so happy. And that's the end of that episode. So now we're going to move on to episode 4, The Sorcerer. And can I just say that episode 4 is my favorite so far in volume 1. Episode 4 is the best, honestly. That was the hook to keep us going, okay? So in episode 4, Derek, Jonathan, Steve, and Nancy drive to they followed the Demogorgon that was trying to attack Derek. They followed the Demogorgon through the gates and they hit a wall, the wall that looks exactly like the wall that Hopper and Elle saw. And they were able to radio communicate, which made them excited because they've been looking for Hopper and now they know that Hopper is still in the Upside Down, safe and sound. Safe and sound. So Elle told Hopper that I really have to go into the lab and see what Dr. K is planning. And Hopper was like, oh my God, okay, we're gonna do it together. And they did parkour. Elle parkoured their way into the lab and Hopper was right next to her. He was right behind her and they go into the lab. While that is happening, Will gets a vision that Vecna is taking the kids. And the military also noticed that kids are getting missing. But Dr. K thinks that the kids are getting missing because of Elle. She thinks Elle is taking the kids for some reason. So what does she do? She tells the military to take all the kids in that grade class and put them in a camp. And she was like, if Elle really wants these kids so bad, she can come and get them. That is a sick thought. Like, what? Dr. K, what? Holly is with Max now, and Max is giving her all the details of how she's been stuck there for a very, very long time. And Holly is scared now because she's like, oh my God, am I going to be stuck here with you? Like, what is happening? And Max is like, relax, there has to be a way out, but I chose not to. Like, I've tried to find a way out. And Vecna, well, while Derek was being suspicious amongst the kids, Vecna realized that, oh my God, Holly is missing and she might be with Max. So he follows the route. He knows where Max is. He knew that Max was in the cave. He goes there and he sees and confirms that Holly is also with Max. But he cannot enter the cave. Why? I don't know. I hope we find out soon. Mike advised that Derek self-report himself to the military because he was going to be a spy on how to save the kids. So they created a plan, which was very, very smart, to save the kids through the bathroom. They're going to dig a hole in the bathroom and take the children through a tunnel. Okay, which worked halfway until someone snitched. And that was so funny because Derek was like, she's a snitch. I forgot what her name was. But they were able to take about 5 children, I think, before the military found out. So the military was like, no, 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 you're not going to take the kids. And while they were having the argument in the park, three of the kids were in the truck with Maury, and two of the kids were with Lucas in the tunnel, and some of the kids were with Joyce, Derek, Will, and I think two other kids were out in the parking lot. And the Demogorgons arrived in the parking lot. Well, they arrived everywhere the kids were, and they wanted the kids. Okay, so they were taking everyone in their way. All the people shooting guns, and they just wanted the kids. So it was very chaotic. And at the point when the kids were taken, the Demogorgons were like, okay, now I'm gonna kill Will and what's her name? Robin. Will, Robin, and also Joyce. The Demogorgon was like, we're just gonna end everybody at this point. And guess what happens? Will, the wise one, Will, the sorcerer, Will, for the first time, being active, saying more than 5 sentences, closes his eyes and kills the Demogorgons with his mind. Oh my god, that was mind blowing. That was so cool. And everyone was like, what? I have a very cool image of the Demogorgon being stuck with Will. I'm gonna show it. And I was just like, oh my goodness, Will, yes, finally, Will, do something. I was so proud. Like, he wasn't scared anymore. He wasn't listening to mommy anymore. It's like, I'm gonna do what I can do. And he did that. And he did even more. Okay? Now let's move on to the next episode. Episode 5, Shock Jock. In episode 5, we see that Vecna successfully taken all the children, and now he's going to use them for his evil plan. In the lab, Dr. K's lab, Elle finds 008. 008. We miss you. Honestly, I miss that babe. But she's looking a little suspicious, honestly. Her hair is cut and she's in this stand-up equipment while her blood is being drained out of her. Like, she looks really, really sick. And Elle was like, oh my god, I'm gonna save you. So Elle saves her. And Hopper is on a mission to execute himself. Like, Hopper, what's wrong with you, sir? Like, it's really not that deep. You have Elle. Why are you trying to execute yourself? Okay. Anyways, all three decides to find a way to escape the lab and try to, find a way to run away. While all of that is happening, Steve and Dustin goes their separate ways from Jonathan and Nancy, all in the goal of finding Holly in the upside down. Remember, everyone still thinks that Holly is in the upside down. So Dustin comes up with a theory that there is a specific spot in the upside down that divides the world, and Nancy needs to shoot through that, because according to his theory, when Nancy shoots through that, they would be able to have, I guess, a solution. I was confused there, honestly. But Nancy took the shot. As a sharpshooter that she is, she's very good at shooting, by the way. Like, excellent gun woman. And guess what? Dustin realized that it's a wormhole, and she's about to shoot them into the effing space. Now, remember when I told you that in episode 3 there was a spoiler? They eventually find out now. So 008, aka Kali, is telling Elle that she has tried to escape before, and during her escape, she finds a room full of pregnant women where Dr. K was injecting her blood into the pregnant women. But then Kali realized that the blood wasn't working because Dr. K keeps failing in her experiment and she keeps coming back to 008 for more blood. And 008 is telling her that that's what Dr. Brenner did to them. Dr. Brenner took some of Henry's blood and put it into those kids so that they can also have superpowers. Why? We don't know yet. But Dr. K is inheriting that plan and doing it all over again. And Elle was like, we need to execute. We need to kill Dr. K. And 008 was like, it doesn't matter if Dr. K is gone, another doctor will come. Maybe Dr. L or Dr. M, but some doctor is coming. And she was like, we need to find a way to end Vecna. Will and the other kids in the regular ward created a plan to explore Will's powers, right? To see what Vecna is really doing and seeing where he's hiding Holly. So they trap a Demogorgon and plug him into electricity so that Will can sit down and truly focus on his visions. So he was able to be successful at this, and he saw through Vecna's mind. Now at this point, Vecna is with Max and Holly. Max and Holly have been exploring Vecna's memories. They've been seeing him go through very strange events, and one of them is when they found him steal a suitcase from a man in the cave. So Vecna was right there, about to capture Max and Holly when Will enters his mind, and then Will turns around and looks at Max and is like, Max, if you can hear me, you need to run. Oh my god. That was my favorite scene. Like, Will was just blowing my mind. Okay, like Will is doing really incredible things. That was episode 5. Now we're gonna move to episode 6. Episode 6 is called Escape from Kamazots. Kama what? Kama who? I feel like episode 6 should have been named Sharpshooter. Because Nancy the sharpshooter, shooting what she don't even know. Like, she didn't even, like, Jonathan was like, are you sure? She was like, yeah. So yeah, episode 6 starts off with the disaster Nancy had created, and everyone was like, oh my god, what is happening? Jonathan and Nancy saw the sky almost falling on top of them, and the world starts to crumble. Mind you, Elle, Kali, and Hopper are still in the upside down, okay? And then so is Derek and Dustin. So Hopper is trying to save the girls. It's like, oh my god, we need to find the gates, we need to run, we need to go back, we need to leave this place. This place is crumbling. And it's crumbling because Nancy shot through the wormhole and everything is flying into space, including Steve's BMW. And can I remind you guys that the first villain of season 5 is Dustin when he drilled a hole into Steve's car. Why Dustin? Why? I'm just kidding. Actually, I like Dustin. Dustin is cool. So, as I was saying, Hopper was being stubborn again. Like, this man, will you learn from your lesson? Your daughter has supernatural powers. Deal with it. I was like, no, no, Elle, stay back, stay back, stay back. And Elle is like, sir, I can use my powers to push anything coming our way and I'll find a gate. She found the gate, she did that, and she rescued them. Okay? But then the other guys are still stuck in there, and now everything is melting down. What's his name? Jonathan wakes up and Nancy is still passed out. He's waking her up, and all this gooey gray matter is melting down on them, almost drowning them. There's no way out. Dustin and Steve were busy fighting earlier, but now they're like, oh my god, we need to put our fight aside. We need to find a way out of here. We need to, well, they needed to find Jonathan and Nancy first before they found their way out. Of course, Elle brings Hopper and Callie back to safety. And Mike was happy to reunite with his bestie again, his girlfriend. And they give each other a hug. And immediately, Joyce is like, help! Will is in trance. He won't wake up after he enters Vecna's mind. Which is happening to her. But like, can you chill, Joyce? Can you chill? Everything is not about Will. Like, these guys just escaped different types of death, okay? Like, can I take a nap? Can you make me break fast? Like, can I get water? She's just like, Elle, get into the bath. Find Will. No. No. I won't. She did. She did. Elle was like, okay, sure. And at this point, I'm starting to notice that Kallie's accent, is it just me that noticed? Kallie's accent is different. Didn't she used to have like some kind of British accent in the first season we saw her? Maybe I'm wrong. Someone did point this out to me, and then I went back to notice it and I was like, yeah, something is weird. My friend mentioned it to me and I was like, yeah, she definitely changed the accent. Callie is acting a little sauce. I'm happy to see her, but like everything, like she's always having a straight face. Relax. Eventually, Nancy wakes up and she realizes that she's about to drown in this gooiness, and she's helping Jonathan to escape that room. But it's not working. Everything is just melting down. So they thought that was their last night, and they're like, oh my god, I really need to get off everything on my chest to you. And she was like, what do you have to say, Jonathan? And then both of them just go on and on about how they don't like each other anymore. And then Jonathan was like, I really was gonna propose to you, but I'm gonna unpropose. What? I'm sorry. And then he goes, Nancy Wheeler, I unpropose to you. And then she goes, I accept your unproposal. What the hell is happening here? Like, they really confuse the audience. Some people actually still think they are still together. Like, that breakup was so confusing. Plus, it was 10 minutes long. 10. In 10 minutes, you guys were not able to convince people that they're no longer together. And then they led on that, like already we could see that their relationship was fading away, and that led on for like almost 2 seasons straight, and now we can't even get like a proper breakup. Nancy did let Jonathan know that she's not choosing Steve either. I'm not sure why that information is important to him, but it makes sense. It makes sense because she's been noticing that both of them have been in this very weird competition for her attention. And she's like, I don't really care about either of you. Honestly, I'm choosing myself. Period. That's all I have for you for episode 6. And now we're going to go to episode 7, which is the last episode of volume 2. Episode 7, The Bridge. Max and Holly are on a journey to find their way back home. And Max has once tried to do this before, but it didn't work out. But this time she was very successful. All she needed to do was to remember the time of when she was using the music that Lucas always played, which was very, very interesting because on the other end, Lucas was running away from Demogorgons while he was still playing the music. That was crazy. And Will's mother came to the rescue by blowing up one of the oxygen tanks or some toxic tank. I'm not sure if it was oxygen. She put it in the washer or dryer, and that kind of exploded and killed the Demogorgons. So Max found her way out, and she told Holly to go through our own path, which opened at the same time. Everyone was talking about how long that scene was because the door is right there. Go home. So they did, but and then Max woke up. Everyone was so happy. Of course, Lucas was like, "Oh, my girl is back." Holly, on the other hand, did not come home. Instead, she went into a different world, and she's saying that she is in Vecna's. I'm not even sure what to call this, but it's in a different space, different dimension, and she's seen that other kids are also trapped in there. She tried to run away, but Vecna caught her right back, which was so sad because Nancy was right there seeing her fall from the sky, but then being zapped back into wherever she was coming from. Nancy was able to get back to the real world, and she told everyone that she still has no reach of Holly. They have no idea where she is, and Vecna is planning whatever he's planning. We're going to find out in the last episode with the kids. According to him, he needs weaker minds, and he got the exact number of kids he needed for his plan. And before we wrap up, I'm gonna say the last scene that kind of creeps everyone out is Will's confession to everyone, which started off with his mom. He was sharing something with his mom, and when he started talking to her, I was like, "Mom, I need to tell you something." When he started off that speech, I'm I had a different assumption of what he wanted to talk about. I thought he wanted to talk about something that had to do with Vecna. I thought he wanted to talk about how although he already explained to her that he was being controlled by Vecna, or he was being used as a spy, and I thought he wanted to elaborate more on that note. But then Will came into the room and then he switched up and wanted to talk about how he's gay, and everyone in the room were like, "Oh, we're here for you." And this makes sense because Will's biggest fear is letting everyone know that he's gay or homosexual. And Vecna apparently has been using people's weakness against them. So now that Will has told everyone his weakness, he's free, I guess. He's free, he's stronger. But there are also speculations online that the person talking was not Will, because while Will was talking about while Will was sharing his confession, he mentioned that he likes getting lost in the woods, which makes no sense because Will is definitely traumatized. He explained how he enjoys riding his bike to get milkshake from Melvald's, which is no longer a milkshake shop anymore. It's actually a grocery spot where his mom works at. So like people are analyzing that these memories are Vecna's memories, not his memories. So it's either he's gotten his memories confused or Vecna is talking through him. I vote on his mind getting confused because Vecna mentioned to the kids that your memories are gonna get confused. You're not gonna remember some things. A lot of things is confusing because he has parts of Vecna inside of him when he got pumped with whatever Vecna put in his mouth, and now so does the children. So that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it, and I am excited to watch the last episode, and I'm also gonna do a video on that. So I'll see you later. See you in the future. Bye.